No one's asking why. The world keeps spinning, no one seems to care. Lost in the noise, a silent prayer. Does anyone out there even hear the cry? I'm just a voice in the wind, but I'll keep on screaming, 'cause someone's missing. I won't stop dreaming.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Butterfly. Thank you for joining me. Hey, Tater. Thank you for joining. Alex, thank you. Looks like we have Kimber. We have the Landers. Hey, Miss Landers. Thank you for joining. Plus one. Spanky. Don't you start any trouble. Cherokee Cherry. Thank you for joining me. Lynn. Lazy Limbo. Stormy. Thank you for joining me, Stormy. Thank you for always being here. Jolly Molly. We have Nita P. I've had Anita P a couple times today. Stan Man, thank you for joining the second coming. There's my wisdom. Good morning. Well, good afternoon, wisdom. I'm not used to these afternoon shows. Good afternoon, wisdom. Arctic, thank you for stopping in. He says I'm on the road, so I can't be in chat, but I'm leaving a like and sharing out. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you, Arctic. Thank you for all you do also. And we have Jessica. Thank you for joining me, Jessica. Kaylee Jones. We have Duolingo's grandpa. We have plus ones, Loosey Goosey. I think that's about it, unless I missed somebody at the bottom. I think I got everybody. Tater, hope you're having a great day. Butterfly, you too, for sure. Well, today we're going to cover Aiden. I don't think Aiden got a lot of coverage. He went missing right around the time with a few others, and then things just got kind of complicated, and I think he kind of got to the side a little bit. And so I want to focus on him today. He deserves coverage too, and I know that several have covered him. Thank you for joining me, Barb. Good to see you. We're going to cover Aiden Clune because at the time that he went missing, like I was saying, he didn't get a lot of coverage. He got some, but he didn't get a lot because a couple other people had went missing at the same time, and it kind of put him on the back burner. So we're going to focus on him today. Excuse me. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me add this to stage. See if I can move me out of the way and make that bigger. All right. Let me go back over here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Actually, I don't think that's where I was at here. Where was I? There we go. Okay. So we have his date of last contact as April 27th, 2022. He's missing from Curry, Nevada. He was 19 years old at the time, and his current age now is 22 years old. There he is in through NCMEC, of course. It says Aiden Jerome Clune. Nickname, he doesn't have a nickname. He is male. He's a white male. 5'8" to 5'9", 125 pounds. His last date of contact was April 27th, 2022. And name is case created June 8th of 2022. Last known location was Curry, Nevada, in Elko County. It says Aiden is known to have traveled from California to Utah on April 26th. He then drove back to Nevada and he stayed the night in Wells, checking out of a hotel room at approximately 6:23 a.m. on April 27th. He had traveled south on US Highway 93 and he parked his pickup truck on the shoulder near mile marker 23. At approximately 8:50 a.m. On April 27th, a Nevada State Police trooper found the vehicle abandoned. The sheriff's office was notified of the situation on April 28th, and they began a search for Aiden. His tracks were located leaving the area where the pickup was abandoned, and he was tracked for more than 10 air miles. He has not been located despite multiple search efforts. And if we come on down, it'll say he has brown hair, semi long in the front, shorter in the back, may have been dyed black. His body hair description is hair on mid chest and calves, facial hair, scraggly growth on chin and upper lip. His left eye color is brown, and so is his right eye. Large brown eyes and prominent dark eyebrows. Distinctive physical features. It says Oakland A's logo in yellow and green on ankle, large smiley face on the right side of torso fashioned from ants and centipede tattoos. So those are the tattoos of Aiden. If you would happen to see those, maybe those would stand out to you. He was wearing a black North Face coat, unknown colored jeans, and black Nike high top tennis shoes. Also believed to be wearing a black Gucci belt. May have been wearing a pink quartz heart necklace, possibly small earrings. As you can see, here's some pictures of him. He's such a handsome boy. He really is. Um, it says facial case ID, and it shows you just 3 different photos of what his hair may look like, what, how he may dye it, how different styles that he may have worn it. If you have any information about Aiden or you think you see Aiden, please don't hesitate. He has been missing for so long. His mother deserves him to be home. The family needs some closure. So it says Elko County Sheriff's Office address, and it has all of that. But if you happen to see him, please contact 775-738-3491, or you could call 911. Welcome, Lacey. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Mikey. Mom. If I missed anyone, I apologize. I'll catch up with you at the end. I think I've got everybody so far. Let's see what else is on here. Okay. So on that one, let me go back over here. And I have a little news thing I want to play first, and then a few videos, and we'll get into it. Welcome, Tomboy. Thank you for joining.
A missing person case from across the country. Men and women, young and old, from all different races and backgrounds. Every missing person matters, and each case deserves attention. It is important to us, and it is important to the friends and families of each of the missing people that we meet. This week's case is a focus on the disappearance of a young man from California. There is a blurry image out there, and it may be the only clue right now his family has to go on. His name is Aiden Clune. He's been missing now for a year and a half. He left his pickup truck on the side of a Nevada highway, and then he ran off into the wilderness. No one knows why he took off. His mom says he may have been out of those mountains alive and is somewhere out there. She is now asking anyone who recognizes the man in the blurry image you'll see in a moment to come forward and help their family. Aiden Clune was 19 when his truck was found abandoned by the side of a Nevada highway on April 27, 2022.
They said that the passenger side door was open and his wallet, his clothes and belongings, his laptop were all sitting on the passenger seat.
His mother frustrated because you can hear the highway patrol dispatcher say Aiden's name and that he's missing.
The same person under the age of 21.
But there's no immediate search.
All of the law enforcement that I talked to at that time, I told all of them he was having a mental breakdown. He was having some kind of primary psychosis. He needed help.
The boy who once mugged for the camera and showed off his guitar talent on Instagram was now an adult, protected by privacy laws.
I was beside myself. I mean, I just feel like I'm hitting my head on a brick wall, screaming at them, help me, find my son, help my son.
Days later, the sheriff taking her down the rutted 2-track road to see the vast search area. Aiden's distinctive sneaker prints tracked to a location 10 miles into the wilderness at the north end of Cherry Creek mountain range. But snow ended the search.
We're going to check this area for Aiden.
Amy Clune and her sister have made multiple trips from California, tracing Aiden's steps.
Came through here.
Gotcha.
Then he walked across.
His mom climbing to those last coordinates and finding a glimmer of hope.
When I turned around on the side of this mountain and looked around, what I saw was directly north was Highway 93. My theory at that point was he did not go southwest, he went northeast. He could see the road.
Another trip finding shoe prints to support their theory.
They're peanut shaped, which means they're tennis shoe. These footsteps were embedded into the ground, which means that they were made during the wet season. And this was the first time that we actually thought he might have made it out of the range.
It's an absolute possibility.
Bill Dosey runs Find 911, his search dogs confirming Aiden's path.
Our tracking dog confirmed the 2 spots that law enforcement had located, and then we continued on past that.
And high-tech drones using artificial intelligence scoured the mountains.
We upload images of Aiden, suspected clothes he was wearing. Our software will, while running through Amazon's AI server, search for those things, even though they may be underbrush or partially covered by debris.
But it found nothing of Aiden's. Now a new trail leading to Salt Lake City. A woman says she's seen Aiden on the train and around downtown.
He's always walking. Looks like he doesn't really have a place to live.
Passing him on the city transit, she was able to get a quick image.
And I'm almost 100%, 101% it's him.
Amy agrees it could be Aiden.
His hair in the photograph is consistent with Aiden's hair. The jawline is definitely consistent.
In September, Amy and her sister went to Salt Lake, visiting homeless camps and showing photos of Aiden and his tattoos.
A handful of people say they recognized Aiden's poster.
A mother now asking for any help locating the man in the image.
There is somebody in Salt Lake City who strongly resembles my son, and we have to find that young man so that we can rule it out, or it would be a miracle if it was Aiden. It would be a miracle, and I would be ecstatic.
And we really have to think about these parents and how many times that they hear of remains being found or someone looking like them or a tip coming in. Every single tip, their heart just has to instantly skip a beat. We have to really think about these parents before we get on here and we try to destroy people or we guess or we want to judge. But at the end of the day, all we're doing is hurting the parents because, like she just said, it would be a miracle for that to be Aiden. But I promise you, every time something comes in like that, that mother's heart she just stops in her tracks. And I really wish that people could understand or even try to understand what these parents are going through. I mean, even if I don't care if you think that they've done something, you don't know. That's just your opinion. And if you go at them, that's on you. That's on your soul because I would never want to hurt a family member when there's absolutely no reason to. There's no evidence, there's nothing. All we have are opinions. But okay, I'll stop this rant and carry on with my next one, but I may have another. I'm not sure. I'm kind of wound up today. So let's go ahead and add this one. I will shut my mouth.
This content is brought to you by Unfound's supporters at Patreon, PayPal, YouTube, and Unfound's gracious advertisers. Aiden Jerome Clune was a 19-year-old from Sonoma, California. He was an only child and a creative kid. On April 26th, 2022, Aiden had a disagreement with his grandparents in Utah. The next day, Aiden's truck was found on the side of the highway outside Wells, Nevada, with shoe prints heading off into the distance. He was never seen again. I'm Ed Dunsel, and this is Unfound. A common feeling expressed by family members to me, although some don't come right out and say it during the interviews, is a sense of helplessness. Whether their loved ones are mixed up in drugs or habitual criminal activity or mental health struggles, these mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and friends, they feel as powerless as if they're watching a plane crash in the distance. No words or actions changed the trajectories of these troubled people's lives. Robbie Hurt, a family man who could not overcome his longtime heroin addiction, found deceased. Brandon Barron, a son whose mental and drug issues got so bad he threatened to kill his parents, found deceased. Renee Lamanna, a young woman whose paranoid schizophrenia got worse and worse. And in fact, she ran off while her sister was in the process of providing Renee with a better place to live. Renee is still missing. We're left thinking that nobody could have changed the outcomes of these and many other unfound disappearances. Well, with Aidan Clune, we are confronted with the same situation. A great kid who began to lose touch with reality. Is there anything that anybody could have done to stop the spiral? And now a summary of the case. This is brought to you by my friend Megan Linez's website, charlieproject.org. Aidan Clune was the kind of kid who kept to himself and looked for no trouble from anyone. He was creative and musical. Aidan was close to his mother, but did not have much of a connection to his father. Aidan liked to work and had several different jobs as a teenager. However, a prank done to him by a strange girl that went viral on TikTok sent Aidan into a funk in which his mental health began to deteriorate. He suddenly began to be suspicious of people. Aidan would make plans, then back out. This culminated in him deciding to take a trip to see his grandparents in Utah. Aidan's mother thought this was a great idea. So, on April 26th, 2022, Aidan showed up at his father's parents'. However, things went badly quickly. While riding in his own truck with his grandfather, Aidan's personality quickly changed, and he forced his grandfather to get out of the truck on the side of a highway, abandoning him. The next day, over the border in Nevada, in the middle of nowhere, a highway patrol officer came across Aidan's truck. Aidan's possessions were strewn around it. He wasn't there. He was never seen again. An eventual area search discovered shoe prints going off toward a distant mountain range. The trail lasted for over 10 miles before vanishing in the sandy high desert. Searches since have yielded interesting information, but no firm ideas as to where Aidan could be. Neither the free market nor governments have been able to get a handle on how to effectively treat adults with mental health issues who don't want help. Contemplate how people's rights can be respected while also getting them the therapy they need, while you also try to answer these 3 questions during the interview. Number 1, was an opportunity missed by the highway patrol officer to end the disappearance just a few hours into its existence by him not taking the abandoned truck more seriously? Number 2, could Aidan's disappearance have been caused by him putting the wrong destination into his GPS? And number 3, should we be open to the idea that Aidan didn't exactly run off, but somebody encountered him out there in those mountains? Aidan's family has no firm idea regarding a theory as to why he has not been found yet. The guest for this episode is Aidan's mother, Amy Clune. Next, have all of you heard of the Fire in the Sky UFO incident? Well, it is the topic of the newest Found episode available to Patreon and YouTube supporters. Joined at either site to partake in my analysis of this now well-known story. Finally, I got to meet one of Unfound's longest listeners this past weekend in Orlando. He got in on the ground floor way back in 2016. We had a good time talking about all sorts of stuff. I'm so happy to have on this episode of Unfound the mother of Aiden Clune, Amy Clune. Amy, welcome to Unfound.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
And good to talk to you, Amy. Listeners should know that she and I have spoken, and she sent me a lot of information, of course, regarding the searches that we're going to talk about. And by the time all you listeners are hearing our voices, I will have put at least some, if not all, of this material out there, so you can see all the work that Amy has been doing going into Nevada to try to find her son. We're going to get into that, of course, in this discussion, but sometimes it's hard to really explain some of it in audio. So you're going to really hear about Amy going out there and going over many square miles trying to figure out, of course, with help, going out there trying to find her son. But we're going to start here, Amy. It's good to talk to you. And on this episode, we're recording this on April 28th of 2024. Let's just first talk about your family. Of course, Aiden is your son, but do you have any other kids, daughters, sons?
No.
What can you say about your family?
Aiden is my only son.
Wow.
He's my only child.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my only son, and I come from a family of 6 siblings, and strangely, a lot of us only have one son, one child.
What do you think's up with that, Amy?
I guess remembering the competition for stuff like the bathroom and
And food.
it was, yeah, you know, and then there was always arguments and stuff, and I don't know why that is, but I think that, you know, a lot of families are smaller these days too.
That's
but,
true. True.
He was my only son, my only child.
Okay.
And so,
I have to ask, how did you come up with the name Aiden? Does that have some family significance, or is it named after a famous person, or what? Where'd you get Aiden?
well, it's a combination. So, I have my mother's maiden name, and that was for my grandfather, Jerome Clune.
Okay.
And and we're from County Clare in Ireland. Our family, a couple generations back, three generations back, and from the town of Quinn. And so I've always liked Aidan Quinn, the actor.
Sure, I know who he is. Sure.
And so there was kind of this like melding of ideas in my mind, and so I decided to name him Aiden Jerome Clune after my dad. But Aiden came from Aiden Quinn.
That's interesting. I like it.
I'm sorry, after Aiden's grandfather.
Okay.
My dad.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's my grandfather, Aiden's great grandfather. Can we do that?
Okay. So that's how you came up with the name Aiden.
Yes.
Okay. Good Irish name, and listeners maybe know that I'm 2/3 Irish myself. So we're both from Ireland, and that's how Aiden, I should have known, knowing that that's like kind of an Irish name. Maybe I should not have been surprised where you got it, but it's certainly your grandfather, his great grandfather's name, and then of course the actor, etc. Thank you for that. Very good. I love talking about, because we do run into some unusual names. When you do 350 interviews over 7.5 years, you're going to run into some names that aren't common. And so I always make sure the listeners understand where some of these names come from. Okay.
And I would like to say one other thing about Aiden's name.
Yeah, please.
There's out there on the interweb, I like to call it, people have mistakenly misspelled his name, and it's always been this way in schools everywhere. There's no E in Aiden. Okay. It's AIDAN. Yeah. And it's gotten confused so many times that when I was at graduation, his high school, they misspelled it on his middle school graduation. So when it came up to his high school, I went into that office and kept reminding them. I said, please.
Yeah, I get it.
Don't miss something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Okay.
Always been a thing.
Okay. Let's talk about Aiden. What was he into? Young man, boy, what was he into? Sports, video games? What kind of interests? How would you describe his personality as a little kid, maybe getting into his preteen years? How would you explain all that?
Yeah, he was always pretty creative. Like he learned how to draw at a very young age.
Wow.
Always drawing. Then got into Legos, and in Legos he was always years ahead. Like the age group.
Yes.
And he would get stuck sometimes, but he was really like focused. He didn't want to get up and stop doing them. And I got him these huge Lego sets, like some Star Wars, and he didn't want to stop until it was done. And I only had to help him a few times when he got stuck and we'd go backwards. And yeah, he was good at that. He was a reader. I read to him a lot. It's no surprise that later in middle school and stuff, he was a good writer. He was reading. His reading comprehension was always like way off the charts. By middle school, he was at college level reading, and he very high comprehension. And so he struggled with athletics. He had a food. He had a food intolerance when he was younger, and it became very acute. And so physically he was unable to, he had no endurance, no energy, and found that problem. And I eliminated some stuff from his diet, and this went on for 9 months, a year. And when I figured it out, he woke up one morning and was like, "Hi, Mama," and he was just clear as a bell.
Wow.
And so after that, and he was also falling in the percentile. He was down to the 16th, or I think the lowest he got was the 11th percentile, and he just wasn't growing.
Wow.
And he, so after that, he did start to grow, and he started to get energy. And I think his junior year, he actually joined track for a short time. And he skateboarded a lot. He started learning to play guitar, along with the left side stuff. Again, he learned how to play guitar in middle school with this great middle school program that they had, and he really enjoyed it. And so that's where his music took off. And he also loved to play Pokemon Go. He did a lot of that. He had a great sense of humor, very advanced. Like I said, his comprehension was pretty high. But also with humor, he got stuff that a lot of his friends didn't get. And he has such a good sense of humor. He does have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so it was. But he also he was a deep thinker too. Very thoughtful, kind of ponderer. Pondering about. He would ask me questions. He'd be in the car, ask me a really serious question. Why is this like that? Why is this like that, Mom?
What kind? Yeah, maybe get into that. What kind of relationship did you and he have?
Well, we were close because it was me and him, and it was just me and him.
Okay.
And he had some close friends, and that we became friends with the family and stuff. There were relationships like that and stuff. And I have a very close friend, and we went to their family gatherings all the time. And so we had an extended kind of family, a family that wasn't biological. My family's kind of all over the place. They're Florida, they're on both coasts, Michigan, all over, And so we were pretty close, and we really connected through humor. And so Aiden was he didn't lie to me. He some kids tell fibs, but Aiden was kind of self-possessed, in a way, where if he didn't want to talk about it, he'd say, "I'm not going to talk about that with you, Mom."
Yeah.
He could just be honest like that, pretty honest like that with me. So he was forthright a lot with me
Okay.
as well. Yeah,
Okay.
and we used to play board games. We'd like to play. We would play Sorry all the time, and Scrabble, and we would sit by the fire. And he really wanted a dog, but I was a single mom working a lot, and that was, so that I think his love for dogs, he came out of yearning for wanting one, but I didn't feel like I could take care of it. I'm not a person who wants to leave the dog alone all day.
Right.
I just can't.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
Okay.
yeah, we did have cats and other little pets, that were easier to take care of, and he was always very gentle and loving with animals, and he was I have to say he was pretty easy to, in a lot of ways growing up as a child. He was an easy child, he picked things up quick and was very good and listened to me.
Okay. Now, I know there's something we have to talk about that might have been a big influence on him. Of course, we have to remember he was just 19 years old when he went missing. Very young guy here. But there was something that went on that you had brought up. Once again, how much you want to say about it is up to you. But it had something to do with some girl, I guess, was kind of his girlfriend, but then kind of tricked him or something. And you said this really might have had a really detrimental effect on his mental health.
Well, Aiden had a couple of, that wasn't the first time that he was kind of had a problem with someone who kind of came at him and was a part of some kind of greater plan, literally with forethought. There was one that happened in grade school where a student came to him and wanted him to do something bad because they were mad at their friend. He's just sitting there minding his own business, but he got really in trouble for that, and the student who masterminded all this, nothing. And so I actually took him out of that school because I could see what was happening, and it was not good. So that was in third grade. That was the first time I put Aiden into art therapy so that he could deal with that. He was kind of traumatized by the way he was being treated. And the next school he went to was a grade school. That's where he learned to play guitar. Things were much better there for him. And so then later, middle school was kind of, there wasn't anything major going on there. But this girl that you're talking about, she was not his girlfriend.
Okay.
She wasn't. He didn't go to the same school as her. He had a girlfriend, and she wasn't it. And what this young lady, I was hoping that she felt remorseful about what she did, but she doubled down on a social media platform and kind of continued with it after Aiden's disappearance, and that was really disheartening to see a person do that, because what she doesn't know is that I was sitting at the kitchen table with my son when she called him, and I could see the confusion on my son's face. And I said, "Who is that?" And he goes, "Oh, hang on." He's listening to this person. It was clear to me that he didn't really know this person that well. And so when I'm just going to call out and say, what she's saying what she said on her social media platform is not true.
Okay.
I was there. I saw my son's reaction. He didn't know her that well. She had some kind of, I don't know if it was jealousy or what the heck it was. She was a troubled person herself. She went to a different high school for kids who needed a different teaching track.
Okay.
And she was in a facility.
Well, what exactly, you're going to have to explain, Amy, what exactly happened. What happened here? What was she trying to do? I mean, what was the situation?
She was trying to, I think, put a wedge in between him and his girlfriend. And I don't know who she was upset with, my son or his girlfriend. But she asked him for a ride from this facility, and so I could see this was an unusual situation when I was watching Aiden react, because it was so weird. And I said, "Who is that? You know, who are you talking to?" And he goes, "Just a minute." And so when he got off the phone, he said, "Oh, it's so and so. I don't really know her, but she needs a ride." And he said, "You know, I think people think I'm a really good guy. She must trust me." He started feeling good about it. You know, like, oh, she needs my help, and she's turning to me for help, and that's nice, you know. And I'm gonna go get her mom, and then I'll be back, you know. And I said, "Well, why aren't her parents picking her up?" He goes, "I don't know. Maybe she just doesn't want to talk to them, you know, or something." And I said, "Well, okay, you know." And I asked him where it was, and he told me. And I said, "Okay, well, just go there and come right back." You know, it just seems like a weird situation, a weird phone call right from the start.
Okay.
Well, so what she did was she took video of him, and she kept in the vehicle and kept grabbing his hand, and he was looking over. Like, I think later this video got taken down, by the way, and there were people at the end who were saying, like, he looked confused. He didn't look like he felt comfortable with her, you know. She was trying to grab his hand, and it said something, she was posting out there that like, she found out her boyfriend has a girlfriend or something like that, which is not the case. I mean, it was just this made up. I don't know why she did it. I have no clue why someone would do something like that, other than there's some kind of sour feelings there.
Yeah.
There was some kind of sourness on her part, but what happened was that it ended up going viral, and you know, I really wish that young people would know, you know, it's a joke to you. You think you're going to pull a prank on somebody, you think you're going to cause some little rift, or, you know, something like that, and what you end up doing is utterly really hurting someone.
Yeah.
And so this video, it went viral. You can really hurt someone that way, and don't do it. Don't actively go out and try to hurt people, because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And so Aiden, I guess it was like a week or so later, Aiden was, I came home from work, and I looked down, there was a paper bag by the front door, in the entryway hallway, and there was hair sticking out of it. And I looked in the bag, and there was a lot of hair sticking out of it, all of Aiden's hair. I immediately called him. I said, "What is going on?" And he was like, "Nothing, Mom." He was in a state of mania. He was mad, and he was like, "Nothing. I feel great." And I said, "Aiden, what is going on?" I was very worried about him. And he's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." You know, he was in a state of he was in a manic state. And finally, he came home, and I sat with him and tried to get him to tell me, and he said he wouldn't tell me. But that video she uploaded went viral, with over like 1 million views. And this girlfriend that he loved so much, of course, it did cause a problem. But I think she was able to see through it. People started to see through it, you know. I don't know what this girl's reputation is, but people started to see through it. And but you know, so this was the first time I'd like seen him in a state of mania, and it took a while for him to calm down. And so he was in therapy more than a few times. You know, there's also the thing with his dad, which was an ongoing. You know, he just had so much that he was dealing with. And that's the thing that I'd like to say. Is, you don't know what people are dealing with. Please do not add to their problems. There's no reason for anybody to go out and actively hurt people. You don't know what's going to happen.
When did this
sometimes
happen?
really
Huh?
serious
What, of course, he went missing in 2022. When did this happen with this girl and that went viral?
Well,
When was it?
3 years. It was 3 years prior
Okay.
before the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he did see a therapist for a while before that too, and then I think I tried to get him to see a therapist after that, and we were trying to get him to get therapy in Kaiser, and they were telling us, well, you make this appointment, and then it'll be 6 to 8 weeks before the next appointment. We're like, what?
Yeah.
And they said, well, he can join our team group. And Aiden was like, no, I don't want a group therapy. He wanted one-on-one. He had serious stuff to talk about and issues with his father, his own personal issues with his father and just some other things. It's hard for kids, and
Yeah.
anyway, so
You said that he also had a problem with once COVID started, of course, in 2020, that he did not handle that very well.
Well, of course not, because he was already having issues, and he was prescribed, like after this event, it was like, what do you call it? You call it off brand. It's for breakthrough anxiety.
Okay.
Which he took for a while, but he didn't like taking medicine, stuff like that.
Okay.
And so he stopped taking it, and he wouldn't take it. And so we tried to get him for weekly therapy, but he said, Mom, I'm not going to go every 6 to 8 weeks. It's no help. So he didn't do that. And then when the pandemic hit, he was working at a local grocery store, and he started working as soon as he could. So he literally was working like on his 16th birthday. He trained already when he was ready to go. At 16, he wanted his own money. He wanted to buy stuff, and so he was working at this grocery store. And I think it was a year. Then the pandemic hit, and all of the older workers left. They were like out of there. And so, like in a lot of places, there were a lot of young people running our restaurants, running,
Yeah.
working all the jobs, working full time. And there was this one man, it was after the pandemic. I was in the grocery store, in that same grocery store with my son. We were in the checkout lane. We were customers. And this man behind us, an older gentleman, says, is this your son? And I said, yes, it's my son. He is such a nice young man.
Huh.
He's so polite, so helpful. You should be proud. I said, I am. He's a delightful person.
Okay, so that's a little bit about him from his mom's point of view. What a strong woman. I mean, wow. For her to even be able to compose herself and talk about her son, these mothers are warriors. I mean, there are dads that are the same way, but I just see so much strength with these moms, and it's heartwarming and it's heartbreaking at the same time. It really is. So Wisdom has sent me a couple great videos. They're not long, but before that, I did reach out to Mob Crew and I do have permission to play one of his videos. It's not long. All that I ask, if you like him, if you don't like him as a creator, I just ask that you keep your opinion to yourself with it. If he's nice enough to let me play one of his videos, then I'm going to promote that. If you're not subbed up to him and you would consider, please do. I like Mob Crew myself. With Aiden's case, he was boots on the ground. I have nothing bad to say about him. I shared his link in this chat. If you can't find it, let me know and I will post it again. But I will go over here and add that, and then we have a few little ones after that, and then I'll leave you guys alone. Maybe. No promises. I may not. I might come back with more. Who knows? I know I just had that. I think that is the one. Let's see. Yep, it is. Okay. So I will make that big. Oh, okay, guys, hang on a second, because obviously that is not gonna play sound. So give me just a minute. I may have to refresh to go back, because I bet you that, I have to do that. Hang on. Sorry, I apologize, guys. Where did that go? Just had it. May refresh this way. It may not. Let me copy that. Go back up here. Sorry, guys. Hmm, this. There. No, not Aiden. Where are you, Aiden? Come on. Bear with me, guys. I'm almost there. I'm trying. I'm sorry. He has a whole bunch on his playlist, so I'm just trying to find Aiden real quick and that video. Here we go. Let's see what's on his playlist. I do believe. Oh, that's not it. It was. Here we go. Okay. So sorry, guys. Let's see. Oh, maybe that's not it. Maybe it was this one. Yep, this one's it. Sorry, guys. So sorry. Come on now. No. Okay. Okay, guys. Apparently, That's not going to play for me either. So I'm going to try this the hard way. Sorry. What I will do in the meanwhile, I'll play this other one, and if I can't get that one to play, then we'll go from there. But I'm pretty sure we'll go ahead and start up with this one. And this one should play a lot better.
So, right down below us, about, I'm guessing 1,800 feet, were Aiden's last known tracks via the Elko County Sheriff's Department on their search that they did within
Do you guys hear it now?
the first week that he went missing. And I talked to Lieutenant Doug Fisher with EC, Elko County Sheriff's Department, so ECSD. And we talked for about a half an hour. He gave me a lot of information, you guys, a lot of insight. And I asked him before I hung up the phone, Doug, what's your personal opinion? And he said, Ty, you would not believe the country that boy went over. He goes, it's my assumption. He goes that I think he went over the hill to the west. So we're up on that hill right now. And I'm telling you guys, he said he came up there 4 times. So I think that ridge right there is a big possibility to go down into that canyon. And I've been not down that canyon. I've been up that one, up this one, and then one more that Chris and I were on, but that doesn't really mean anything. There's a way up and a way back down. And some of them I walked ridge lines up, some of them I walked the wash up. It just depended. There's Chris right there. We're going to get up to the top here, and he's going to do a bunch of drone flying where he can fly a bunch of these ridge tops and cover the tree lines and stuff down below us. Like, see that group of tall, I think it's shrub oak and stuff. It hasn't turned green yet. You guys, the snow just disappeared from up here. So for someone to walk up this high a month ago, they would have had to have walked in the bare spots. They would not have walked probably up that wash because the snow would stay in there. And the big indicator, see the vegetation, that's where the snow lingers the longest. So we're up about, I'm guessing we're about 8,500, 9,000 feet here. And when we get to the top, it'll definitely be 9,000. It's probably another 500 to go. But as you can see, the peaks on the northern side of the mountain, we're near one of the tallest ones. And if Doug tells me that it's his personal opinion that Aiden went up and over this, we're going to get up here and scout out the different ways down. And I'm going to stay up here as long as I can. It'll only take me about 45 minutes to get down the hill, and I don't mind driving out in the dark or even walking down in the dark. I'm not going to let these two do that, but I'm going to really look at all the ways down on the west side, pinpoint them in my head, and look down on the trail that's down there so I know the easiest way up. And when we're done searching this little valley down here below us that you see, which is going to take us a while, I've always been over the assumption that they searched this really hard, 1,800 man hours, and that he very well could be over the hill here, kept going where nobody expected him to go. Who knows? So we're going to get up to the top and eliminate the ridge line and the trees right near the ridge line. Heavy brush like that, Chris is going to fly all of this. So, and as you can see, you walk sideways and switchbacks up this. And I'll go down the same way, but I'll go down pretty fast. Hopefully not tumbling. So I'm going to wait for those two to catch up, and we're going to take a break here before we hump the last 500-600 feet to the top. As you can see, we're already higher than almost all the peaks around us. That's Wells off that way. That white spot you see way off in the low part of the valley, that's that runoff lake. So I've definitely got phone service up here. Definitely would have gotten a ping. So this is where we're going, you guys. Up to the top, it looks like it's at least another 500. And we'll take, it's almost noon now. So I'm guessing another half hour to the top. Maybe an hour, I don't know. We're only gonna go as fast as the slowest person, so, and not burn out, so we have the energy to make it back down to the truck. And the truck is Right down there where the trees are, you guys. We probably drove it up 500-600 feet. Oh, it's the last area where the trail ends. So we're going to take our time getting to the top. And when we get up there, I'll make another video so you guys can see the other side. That's Curry way off out that way in the distance. So that way is north. Excuse me. That way is south. That way is east. That's Pilot Peak way off in the distance. That mountain you see that looks kind of like a pyramid. That's 75 miles away. You can see that mountain. That's Black Spruce Mountain. Those mountains off in the distance are the East Humboldts. And then you see that big pass right there between them, and those mountains way off to the, I guess that would be the northwest of us, are the Ruby Mountains. And this way, you guys, is due west up and over. That's where we're going. Say hi, Chris. Get a break, man. Yeah. We'll stay here for a while. We'll wait for you, Bria. We'll take a break right here. Thanks for watching. Stay by, Harper. YouTube, now that the evidence has been picked up, I'm going to show you where we found Aiden Klum's shoes. Came down this wash right here. We were up searching a flat area right up to the west of here. So I came down this wash. See the big open area here. I came down this right where you see that blue flag. And Chris and Bria were behind me. We were searching this whole thing. Chris had another flag right down here. He was headed on this, but we went up the hill. And when I came down, I came across one shoe right here. It was laying right here. Even though that's on the ground, that's not where it was at. It was right here. And I turned, and as soon as I looked here, there was another one right there. And I'll show you. The other one was right there where the red marker is on the ground, under this pine tree. Right there. And the other one was down there where you see the dog. I won't give out the GPS coordinates, but this is where we were at. And as steep as it gets here, you guys, I gotta be careful. When you go up, it's step up and a half a step back. So appreciate you watching. I just wanted to show you guys what we're doing. We were searching up the hill and to the south of here today, across one ravine and then another one all the way almost above the wash. We probably did 8 trips up there, and it's really steep. So our last one back, we did to come down here and just look. We're going to go down into the shrubbed area right in here, and look, we're just going to give it a go through. I know we've grid searched this, but we're going to go back over this area right in here a little bit before we head back to the truck. Thank you for watching.
Oh, we still did not have sound? Really? Ah, okay, let me try this one more time. My goodness, I do not understand that. It says also share tab audio. Yes. Let's try this again, I guess. That is so weird. I never have problems playing YouTube. Hmm. All right. Well, let me try this a different way then. Oh, it says your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. Oh, well, I did. Sorry guys. I am trying here. This page is accessing your Can you guys hear me at all? Is that any better? Hmm. I am so sorry, guys. Let me try. I'll try this one more time. I cannot even understand why it's not doing that. Unless maybe I will. Okay, so now you can hear me. So maybe it'll fix now. I hope. Let me go back over and see what I can find that'll work. I've never had trouble with playing Mob Crew though. That's odd. Or any other one that I've always been able to do that. Hmm. Let's try it anyway. If it doesn't work, then I'll go ahead and end. But I just want to try to continue so that I can figure out exactly what I'm doing wrong here. And no better way to figure out what you're doing wrong than to just mess up. And it looks like I'm pretty good at that. Where did it go? Footprints. This one's really short. I just kind of wanted to give you where it kind of shows where Mob Crew Chris was out there, boots on the ground. But I think what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and play. Well, I don't know if I can play. Here we go. Maybe this one will. Well, no, that one's probably too long, actually, for you guys. We will do. Hmm. I know they did find his shoes, so I guess we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And guys, I apologize. Today's may go over a little bit longer, or if this doesn't play, we may not at all. So we'll see. And I don't think that's exactly what we're going for. All right, guys. I guess I'm just gonna mess this up today, left and right. Okay. Hmm. Well, I'm trying, Kimber. I am, and you know how I get. It could be StreamYard. I don't know because sometimes even my Google won't play, but I've never had one time. I've never had anything on YouTube not play right. I think I just had to refresh it once. Was it? But I did that 3 times now. So I will try it this time, and I promise if it doesn't work, I won't make you guys sit here and try to listen to me rant and rave and have a little fit about what I'm doing here. But yeah, I think we'll go ahead and do this one. I think it's only like I think it's let's go ahead and do this one if it will play. If not, then we won't. But let's see if it will first. Nope, this is not the one. That's not the one. Special members only. This one just kind of showed where he went in and how he vanished into thin air. And I hope this works. So I'm gonna go back over here and see if I can share this screen. Done. See if it-
Your sight. The dry air is foreign to your taste and smell. As you continue on this journey, every step leads you more closer to solitary, being pulled forward to uncertainty only because what's behind you feels like danger, a threat you can only perceive as evil, like a spirit stalking you viciously without cause. The only way to escape is to push forward. Your senses heighten with every step. You soon realize you are leaving tracks behind you, and this unrelenting, unforgiving evil behind you is tracking your every footprint. You believe the only way to escape is to zig and to zag. Far in the distance, mountains and heavily wooded areas. Only in here could be your chance to evade your stalker before entering the forest ahead. The brush beneath you grows thicker. It makes it harder for you to traverse, as if slowing you down on purpose. You begin to feel the fatigue as you enter the dense wooded area. As your body begins to slow down, your senses have heightened. Feels like oceans separate you from civilization. Stranger to everything surrounding you, every tree and limb, becoming more invasive to your space, causing claustrophobia. This is when you begin to panic. Your body begs you to run, but you don't know which direction leads to safety. The sun, exhausted from the day, begins to retire. The warming presence shifts swiftly with the wind. The clouds begin to shroud the last remaining light, and leaving you with a cold sense of uncertainty and morality. This is one of many scenarios poor Aidan Clune may have experienced as he was suffering from some kind of mental health issues. On April 27th of 2022, he wandered into the vast Nevada desert, never to be seen again. Minnie and myself have been searching tirelessly for 2 years looking for Aidan Clune. Only clues we have are from search and rescue notes from past searches. Alleged footprints discovered days following his journey into the desolate mountain range. The biggest question is, why did Aidan decide to wander off into the unfamiliar without logic or supplies? So many stories of the missing pop up every day, and so many get overlooked. Although each missing person is as important as the next, and only a slim few eke their way to the spotlight. Aidan Clune had grown up in Sonoma, California. His mother, Amy Clune, was there for him. But unfortunately, his father was not in the picture as much. Becoming a teenager, he was growing up to be a fine young man. And just like many, when we were his age, had flaws and fears of what's next. But in 2021, he had just graduated and now had his whole life ahead of him. But sadly, with a recent death in the family, someone Aidan was close to, Aidan felt like he needed a new start, new scenery. This led him to leaving Sonoma on a last-second whim and traveling to Salt Lake City, Utah. Unknown to his mother and family, Aidan was beginning to suffer from some kind of mental health issues. It's unclear what exactly was going on, but upon arriving in Salt Lake City, Utah, to stay with his grandparents, he began to show signs of paranoia and more. After a conversation with his grandfather, Aidan was not being rational and sped off in his truck, now heading west on I-80. This highway led to northeastern Nevada. Aidan would stop there, staying the night at this Motel 6 in the town of Wells. On April 27, 2022, Aidan Clune woke up early and checked out. With the highway close by, he took his truck south on Highway 93, traveling approximately 52 miles into a town called Curry. Aidan abruptly pulled his truck over, unknown as to why he did so, perhaps to take a bathroom break or to clear his mind. Taking his acoustic guitar with him, Aidan likely had not wandered far from the road, leaving his passenger door wide open, meaning he had likely had every intention of returning back to his truck. At approximately 9 a.m., a highway patrol officer saw the red Nissan truck and pulled behind it. It looked abandoned. It's unclear where Aiden was at the time, but it's quite possible that Aiden Clune could have been close by. But because of his recent mental health issues and recent signs of paranoia, Aiden may have saw the trooper with their lights on and may have thought he was in trouble and perceived the trooper as a threat, and the only way to safety was to travel into the vast Nevada desert. Aiden would never return back to his truck that day, nor did he make any contact with anyone. For Amy Clune, this is when the true nightmare of a mother looking for her son began, knowing something was off, but sadly a day behind on Aiden's recent travels. Since Aiden Clune was in another state, his mother had a tough time retracing his last steps. It wasn't until the following day Aiden Clune was declared missing. Search and rescue would be disbanded the following days into the vast desert valley of Curry, Nevada. They would soon find Aiden's tracks leading from where the truck was parked, leading away into the vast desert. Not far from his truck, search and rescue found his acoustic guitar laying in the desert sand. Along with the guitar, more footprints were discovered. They led over what is known as the Palomino Ridge. Aiden was wearing Nike Air Force shoes that had a unique peanut shape and circular shapes on the tread. This was helpful to track, as these were not the average type of footwear one would normally wear in an environment like this. They would track Aiden over the Palomino Ridge into a wide valley. Beyond this valley was the Cherry Creek mountain range, full of brush, heavily wooded areas, unforgiving ridges, and peaks. As they continued following his tracks, they noticed some were odd and different to others. They realized that he would take off his shoes and either go barefoot or leave his socks on and walk for a bit, as his tracks changed due to this factor. Furthermore, his tracks would come to a T shape, meaning he'd walk a while, then stop, go left for a bit, then double back on his tracks, which meant it's likely Aiden was trying to throw off anyone who would track him. Even though search and rescue were days behind Aiden, it shows the mental state and possible paranoia Aiden could have been experiencing as he traveled deeper into the unknown and unforgiving mountain range. Search and rescue would eventually track Aiden into this valley south of what is called the burn area. They would lose his tracks after a while, or the weather would get too bad to track, and so they would get more and more behind as days passed on. But eventually they would pick up Aiden's tracks again and followed them into this particular valley that had a creek with fresh water that flows down the mountain into the valley for the livestock. Search and rescue found many tracks wandering all around this valley, some where Aiden was wearing shoes and others where he was barefoot. They would eventually find some tracks leading from the valley west up a steep ridge. From here, they found the last tracks, almost like he was circling a tree, just as signs of Aiden's tracks were plentiful and his presence known. It's as if the vast mountain range of Cherry Creek swallowed them up without cause. Aiden now became a ghost, uprooted from the earth, and now the only signs he was ever there was a few photos taken by search and rescue of his tracks. It's believed Aiden didn't have any rations or supplies or the proper clothing for this type of climate. Just a pair of pants, shirt, hoodie, socks, and shoes. Although this was the northern desert of Nevada, sadly, even in late April and May, with a higher elevation, the temperature can change on the dime from 70 degrees down to the low 30s, and with the wind factor, it can get really cold at night. Even snow comes down at this elevation during this time of year, adding more to the unforgiving elements poor Aiden would have had to endure. Not one sign of Aiden's clothing or himself has ever been found. He did have an iPhone, but no calls or texts were ever made that day or since. Law enforcement were able to get one last ping from his cell phone, but because there was only one tower, they could not triangulate it, only giving a large window between 60 and 65 miles due south of the tower. It's certainly possible that Aiden made it out and went into hiding ever since, but the probability of that scenario, sadly, is low. With all the clues and leads drying up, we decided we had to go back to the beginning and retrace all the steps taken by search and rescue and law enforcement, with some yielding new clues and leads, one of which was the phone ping. Aiden had Verizon, and even though his last phone ping was in a large 5-mile window, the more we have gone out there, the more we have learned that most of that area, you can't get a signal with that tower with a Verizon phone. Only in seldom spots will you get a sliver of service. One of the biggest areas that you can get a signal is in this valley here. This is the same valley where Aiden's tracks were plentiful, but then suddenly disappeared. The other lead is the time of the last phone ping, 8:17 p.m., which sadly means he was likely still in Cherry Creek Mountain Range, as it was getting dark, and the temperatures were starting to drop rapidly. His last tracks were heading west on a ridge towards a peak. Could it be possible that Aiden made the peak and went over due west somewhere? Recently, we drove up to the last footprints and traversed the steep and treacherous ridge, only to learn that when we peaked the top at over 8,000 feet above sea level, it took us nearly 2 hours and we were exhausted. Knowing this now makes us believe he couldn't have had the energy to traverse that peak. Perhaps Aiden attempted to, but returned back into the valley after realizing how tough the climb was. From here, it would be getting dark and colder. Perhaps at this point, Aiden was now in full-on survival mode, either attempting to find shelter under a tree or doubled back from where he came from. But the question still lies. Did he ever make it back out? Unfortunately, Aiden Clune's mental health leading up to and on that day likely played a factor in his disappearance. We will never know what he was actually going through, and sadly, there are many other cases just like his where mental health played some kind of factor in their disappearance. We will continue on searching for Aiden Clune, as we feel like we could be getting close to finding answers due to re-examining the case and discovering new potential leads. If you would like to support this cause, there are
Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it up to you. Do you guys want me to continue? Like I said, Aiden did get very little coverage, so I don't have anything else to do today. So would you guys rather me go ahead and end, or you want me to go ahead and play another? I had reached out to Chris, and I do have permission for his videos, is why I didn't interrupt in between, because I did kind of let him know that I'm not real good at that and I'm learning, but he had no problem letting me play any of the Aiden videos. So that's up to you guys. You let me know. Put a 1 in chat if you think that you're satisfied with what you've heard about Aiden today, or 2 if you'd like to see another video about him. I'll leave it up to you guys. Peggy's going to the bank to get a withdrawal. All right, girlfriend, get us one too. Well, Kimber's going to the bank too. I don't know what you two got planned here. Okay, Tater says 2. Let's hear another. Molly, Butterfly. All right, guys, let's go find us another. Okay, we're going to stop this one, go back over here. I will go to this one. I don't know if I really want to share that one. Okay, hang on. I will probably have to go and pull that right back up. This whole blocking my screen here is the issue. Okay, so let me go back this way. We'll go back to, it says getting closer to the truth. That one, the one we just watched is Aiden Clune vanished in thin air, and this one says closer to the truth. Let me know how it sounds. I kind of go through the beginning. We'll start there. Oh,
it shows the mental state and possible paranoia Aiden could have been experiencing as he traveled deeper into the unknown and unforgiving mountain range. Search and rescue would eventually track Aiden into this valley south of what is called the burn area. They would lose his tracks after a while, or the weather would get too bad to track, and so they would get more and more behind as days passed on. But eventually they would pick up Aiden's tracks again and followed them into this particular valley that had a creek with fresh water that flows down the mountain into the valley for the livestock. Search and rescue found many tracks wandering all around this valley, some where Aiden was wearing shoes and others where he was barefoot. They would eventually find some tracks leading from the valley west up a steep ridge. From here, they found the last tracks, almost like he was circling a tree, just as signs of Aiden's tracks were plentiful and his presence known. It's as if the vast mountain range of Cherry Creek swallowed them up without cause. Aiden now became a ghost, uprooted from the earth, and now the only signs he was ever there was a few photos taken by search and rescue of his tracks.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me make sure. It's been a while since I've been live. So let me move that down. So yeah, we're gonna go out one more time this week to search for Aiden Clune. We'll talk about some of the details and what we're focused on. We believe and also you can get feedback and there. She went missing back in March 10th. So just been over a year she had been missing. And of course, this area will just kind of get you familiar. Let me just show some of his truck and plug all these in. So these are exact coordinates of the footprints. And so kind of Aiden pulled over his truck. Now, I was kind of reading some old Facebook post. One lady, a local, she has a husband who works for NDOT, which is Department of Transportation. Apparently, he was driving this Highway 93 back and forth and believed that he did see Aiden kind of wandering just beyond the fence line. So when he had pulled over, there's kind of a fence line not far from the truck. If you see my footage, you know what I'm talking about. I'll show you. But, you know, because there are ranchers and stuff, and they do have their herd out in this area. But when they went to search for him, they picked up his tracks, and even they found his guitar, and they kind of searched for him. So this day after he went missing, they found quite a bit of tracks that kind of went over the Palomino Ridge. And then I think they picked up the last one somewhere as it went into the valley that separates the ridge and Cherry Creek mountain range. And I don't know if it was just because the day was getting later or the weather, but it seems that after this footprint here, it seems they kind of either lost his tracks for a bit, or, you know, weather, something. Then they picked him up the next day. Unfortunately, they didn't really document as much, but it seems they kind of tracked him up over this. And then I think either the day was getting later or weather, because I know it was kind of a mix of both. And then I think the 30th, they didn't search because of weather. And then they picked up on May 1st, started picking up some tracks again. And then May 2nd was when they really just found apparently a lot of different tracks. And it was so weird because he had somewhere with his shoes and some where he was barefoot. It was really strange. And yes, being out there, a lot of people, and it could be maybe his socks. I'm not sure. Maybe barefoot just means he just didn't have his shoes and he had his socks. Or he could have been barefoot. Poor kid. But then the final tracks was this one where he looked like he was kind of almost circling a tree. And then from there, they just kind of, they dried up and couldn't find anything. And so we've been searching in this area. a lot of different clues that we've discovered that all lead into this area. Let me get to chat for a second, but I'm going to pull this up and talk about something that I think we mentioned in the last slide. But this is an actual piece of the document that's in the FOIA report. Hey, June. I miss you, Chris. Happy 9 months. That's awesome. Thank you so much, June, for your continued support. Sweet dreams. Another amazing supporter. Never give up. Thank you, Chris. We won't. And thank you so much. Into the trees just through the fence. Next time he went by just before quitting time, the sheriff's office and many personnel were already looking. So seems I'd seen him early on, and then law enforcement or a trooper had pulled over, obviously checking things out, probably not understanding the full situation, what was going on. Sometimes vehicles get abandoned or they break down, and so sometimes what they do is highway patrol will see a car that's on the side of the highway, interstate. They'll mark it if they don't see the driver, and then they wait 24 hours and they come back, and if the vehicle's still there, then they tow it. So that's kind of what happened in that case. Chris, are you walking on dirt or sand? Yeah, dirt would probably be a better than sand. Yeah, dirt. Yeah, because it's not sand. Well, it is kind of more sandy in the area where he left his truck, but when you get further in, I would say it's more dirt. It starts to get more rockier. The terrain changes, but yeah, I would say the sand. It's a little more sandy out in the open areas, but when you kind of get more deeper in, it is more like dirt, and it's kind of hard to imagine him out there barefoot. There is areas. I mean, there's even areas with grass out there because we know there's a creek out there. So let's talk about. So this thing, I know it's kind of hard to see, but the most important thing is this shows areas. Now, again, just for example of why I was talking about those other cases where I never give up is, as you can see here, here's the circle. There's some of his tracks. I know it's probably hard to see, but it says barefoot, 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 these dots. Apparently some of his tracks. So it looks like they kind of got this as ground zero. Then they have these areas, area N, area O right here. It's kind of hard to read. I apologize. And then area L. I'll kind of show you what that looks like here. The one. This one. Yep, there it is. Looking for. So this area are the three areas. And this was kind of like ground zero. So kind of think this area here is where a lot of barefoot prints or footprints, either way, were kind of plentiful. And then again, you kind of got his last footprints. And then you add in that cell phone, which it's so weird because you can go up onto this peak at over 8,000 feet and you don't get a signal. And he had Verizon, I have Verizon, the other people that go out with us have Verizon. So we can kind of test the signals. And we know that we have this 5-mile window between 60 miles and 65. And even though this is a giant area, you can really kind of discount a lot of it because you just don't get a signal. I mean, there's just sparse areas where you do, but what's interesting is there's one area, and this is the only area, there could be others, but this is the only area that I know of where you can get a decent phone ping for a good while, and that is right here. It almost lines up due south of the tower, where the tower's at. And we kind of tested this as well as we kind of walked, and it's almost like you can keep a signal in this, and this is just kind of approximate. This is not perfect, but So our theory is if that 817 ping, which is the last phone ping they got, and if it was in this area, it would all kind of line up. And that would mean now, again, it would be getting late. Temperatures are dropping rapidly. I mean, it was snowing when they were searching. Some of the reasons why they couldn't search on certain days was because of the rain or snow. You're at a higher elevation. You guys kind of thank you, Wildflower. Thank you so much for the support. Good to see you, Miranda. Good to see you, Mr. Beer, BG. So we plan on going out possibly Thursday.
Aiden Clune had grown up in Sonoma, California. His mother, Amy Clune, was there for him. But unfortunately, his father was not in the picture as much. Becoming a teenager, he was growing up to be a fine young man. And just like many, when we were his age, had flaws and fears of what's next. But in 2021, he had just graduated and now had his whole life ahead of him. But sadly, with a recent death in the family, someone Aiden was close to, Aiden felt like he needed a new start, new scenery. This led him to leaving Sonoma on a last-second whim and traveling to Salt Lake City, Utah. Unknown to his mother and family, Aiden was beginning to suffer from some kind of mental health issues. It's unclear what exactly was going on, but upon arriving in Salt Lake City, Utah, to stay with his grandparents, he began to show signs of paranoia and more. After a conversation with his grandfather, Aiden was not being rational and sped off in his truck, now heading west on I-80. This highway led to northeastern Nevada. Aiden would stop there, staying the night at this Motel 6 in the town of Wells. On April 27, 2022, Aiden Clune woke up early and checked out. With the highway close by, he took his truck south on Highway 93, traveling approximately 52 miles into a town called Curry. Aiden abruptly pulled his truck over, unknown as to why he did so, perhaps to take a bathroom break or to clear his mind. Taking his acoustic guitar with him, Aiden likely had not wandered far from the road, leaving his passenger door wide open, meaning he had likely had every intention of returning back to his truck. At approximately 9 a.m., a highway patrol officer saw the red Nissan truck and pulled behind it. It looked abandoned. It's unclear where Aiden was at the time, but it's quite possible that Aiden Clune could have been close by. But because of his recent mental health issues and recent signs of paranoia, Aiden may have saw the trooper with their lights on and may have thought he was in trouble and perceived the trooper as a threat, and the only way to safety was to travel into the vast Nevada desert. Aiden would never return back to his truck that day, nor did he make any contact with anyone. For Amy Clune, this is when the true nightmare of a mother looking for her son began, knowing something was off, but sadly a day behind on Aiden's recent travels. Since Aiden Clune was in another state, his mother had a tough time retracing his last steps. It wasn't until the following day Aiden Clune was declared missing. Search and rescue would be disbanded the following days into the vast desert valley of Curry, Nevada. They would soon find Aiden's tracks leading from where the truck was parked, leading away into the vast desert. Not far from his truck, search and rescue found his acoustic guitar laying in the desert sand. Along with the guitar, more footprints were discovered. They led over what is known as the Palomino Ridge. Aiden was wearing Nike Air Force shoes that had a unique peanut shape and circular shapes on the tread. This was helpful to track, as these were not the average type of footwear one would normally wear in an environment like this. They would track Aiden over the Palomino Ridge into a wide valley. Beyond this valley was the Cherry Creek mountain range, full of brush, heavily wooded areas, unforgiving ridges, and peaks. As they continued following his tracks, they noticed some were odd and different to others. They realized that he would take off his shoes and either go barefoot or leave his socks on and walk for a bit. As his tracks changed due to this factor, furthermore, his tracks would come to a T shape, meaning he'd walk a while, then stop, go left for a bit, then double back on his tracks, which meant it's likely Aiden was trying to throw off anyone who would track him. Even though search and rescue were days behind Aiden, it shows the mental state and possible paranoia Aiden could have been experiencing as he traveled deeper into the unknown and unforgiving mountain range. Search and rescue would eventually track Aiden into this valley south of what is called the burn area. They would lose his tracks after a while, or the weather would get too bad to track, and so they would get more and more behind as days passed on. But eventually they would pick up Aiden's tracks again and followed them into this particular valley that had a creek with fresh water that flows down the mountain into the valley for the livestock. Search and rescue found many tracks wandering all around this valley, some where Aiden was wearing shoes and others where he was barefoot. They would eventually find some tracks leading from the valley west up a steep ridge. From here, they found the last tracks, almost like he was circling a tree, just as signs of Aiden's tracks were plentiful and his presence known. It's as if the vast mountain range of Cherry Creek swallowed them up without cause. Aiden now became a ghost, uprooted from the earth, and now the only signs he was ever there was a few photos taken by search and rescue of his tracks. It's
All right, what is up, Mob Crew? If you guys can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat or a thumbs up. You guys should be super proud of yourselves, making good progress for answers. Thank you so much, Sensei. It means the world. Yeah, it's and not just my vehicle repair. You know, Ty's putting a lot of he takes his truck out there. That's a lot of gas money. And so if anybody donates either through like PayPal or Venmo, if you would like to support the funds for this search, if you do PayPal or Venmo, some of that I can give to Ty for gas money and Bria, who's also been out there helping. Because again, this is a team effort, and I can't get out there without Ty's truck. So it's been amazing that
Sorry, I was muted. This is an Amber Alert. Her name is Chloe Levertville Christopher Daniel. Says an Amber Alert has been issued for 9-year-old Chloe Brianna Leverett, a 7-year-old, and 7-year-old Christopher Gage Daniel. The children were last seen on Sunday, September 23rd, 2012, at approximately 6:30 p.m. by a neighbor. Chloe and Gage lived with their grandparents at 730 Kingdom Road, Unionville, Tennessee. That home was destroyed by fire on Sunday night at approximately 9:30 p.m. After an extensive 5-day search, multiple fire experts have processed the scene and are unable to locate evidence for Chloe or Gage if they were victims of the fire. The location of Chloe and Gage is unknown at this time. Christopher's photo is shown age progressed to 17, and Chloe's photo is shown age progressed to 19 years old. If you have any information, please contact TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. I'm not positive how to make that bigger, But I will tell you, I'll put this on my community page, and I will send this right now to Dago, to Mom. Thank you, Arctic, for that. I know Amber Alerts always come first. Thank you so much, Arctic. I appreciate you letting me know that.
We've been able to get it out there because it is just such a rough area. Richardson family, good to see you, Chris. So sorry with another round of tough luck on tour vehicle. Yeah, I know. I broke down with Dylan Rounds, except that vehicle was a lemon. This case, alternator, I guess, kind of not too surprised, but it's never fun to break down in the middle of nowhere. But luckily, Ty and them came out, and I was able to get it towed, and we got it all fixed. But yeah, it costs a lot to do this. It costs a lot. Not just me, Ty, Bria, everybody that's in here. Money, time. I'm burnt. I'm bitten. I am, again, just mentally, physically exhausted. It's not easy going out there, but again, this is a case of how bad do you want it? And people like Ty are driven, and those kind of people that are gonna, find answers. Kate says, "Are there any predators in that area?"
Well, guys, I have to be a member to play that one. So, I guess I will go ahead and call it. Unless you guys have any other videos you want to send me, or if you have anything else on another channel that we have permission to play. I can't thank Chris enough for letting me play his videos. Some of them he has on members only, and I'm not one of his members, unfortunately, so I can't play it. Thank you, Wisdom, for the 2 things that we played that you sent me. That was from Ty Corbin. If you're not subscribed to him, please do. He also does some great things for Aiden. I think him and Chris from Mob Crew may be together when they do drone footage. I know Chris does have a drone footage video out. If you guys want me to play it, I will. It just shows like how he took his drone out and showed the area. But I think so far he's pretty well shown us the area. But I'll leave it to you guys. Do you guys want me to try to find that video, or do you think that have I done okay today and you want me to just shut up? You won't hurt my feelings. You just let me know. But there are a couple more videos out that he did do of drone footage. So it's completely up to you guys. You let me know. Anybody in chat want to let me know? Keep going. Okay, Taylor says let's keep going. What do you guys think? So far, Taylor says keep going. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know Arctic doesn't have a premiere, but I know that he's busy and working. Okay, I think Barb's done. Thank you, Barb. Well, Tater, I mean, if you want me to play it, I'll play it. I'll look for it and see if I can find it real quick because he does some excellent. If we start at the very beginning where it says he was tracked for 10 miles, which I did play that one, but then it says helping look for Aiden Clune exclusive drone footage. Now I hope this one isn't a members. It's a members only. Okay. I know there's another because I saw that. That's a members only. New Leads from Foam Ping. We played that one. Last Footprint, Foam Ping. We played that. There is one that he has. It's called Something Attacked My Drone While Searching for Aiden. And I think that one's actually very interesting. Molly, isn't that one that you sent me before? And we thought that was so interesting because something actually attacked his drone. Is that something you guys want to listen to? I just want you guys to hear what you want. Now, Peggy says, I got all day. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's do it. We'll do it like it's Thanksgiving. Here we go.
Everybody will recover true crime mystery to the missing. At well over 8,000 feet above sea level, on top of one of the biggest peaks in what is known as the Cherry Creek Mountain Range, we had been searching for the missing 19-year-old teen, Aiden Clune.
This week's case is a focus on the disappearance of a young man from California. His name is Aiden Clune. He's been missing now for a year and a half.
Who wandered off in this vast mountain range back in April of 2022. Although beautiful at this altitude, little did we know the dangers that day of what was lurking nearby.
No one knows why he took off. His mom says he may have been having a mental crisis, but she has not given up hope that he made it out of those mountains alive and is somewhere out there.
As my drone approached a fire ant hill, while not paying attention, that's when it attacked. Oh God, no! And that's when everything went black. But finally, as I got my bearings, I had realized what was actually stalking us. Or more importantly, the drone. Sven, the dog, who was supposed to be keeping an eye out for any potential dangers, had his eyes locked on something else. My drone. Deciding to turn my $1,500 investment into a flying chew toy by leaping 4 feet into the air when it was least expecting it, and attacked. Luckily, the poor drone was fine. Although feelings hurt, the drone continued on. So did us. We have been searching for Aiden Clune for 2 years now and believe we could be on the verge of finding answers. If you would like to learn more about his story, please check out this live show. Please smash that like button, share your thoughts in the comments below, and also please consider supporting this channel by becoming a member or a Patreon. And thank you so much for watching.
All right, guys. That wasn't too bad, huh? He made that short and sweet. Oh, well, I think it's still, hang on. I didn't end it. I may need to end that so I can stop making all this racket. Okay, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. Arctic says it seems the alert was just issued, which is alarming. Yeah, it is. That is crazy. I mean, they've been gone for that long, and they're just now realizing that those children were just there was nothing in the house showing that they were there. That's very scary. It is. But I will get out of here. I think Dago's going to go live at 5, which is 4 my time central. But I don't want to step on anyone's toes. And usually my show is only an hour. But Aiden is very important. And if you guys have any other videos that you want to play about that or anything else that you want to send me that you want me to go over, please do. I mean, I'll play it. I constantly struggle with which one to do the next day. So if there's anything that you guys would like me to cover, feel free to reach out. My email is doodlebugfartyt for YouTube. Yes, Brian will get a kick out of that because it ends up being doodlebugfarty, but it's at gmail.com. Please, you can send me that. I'm on Discord. You can send me there. I'm on Facebook as Doodlebug. So thank you guys. Thank you all for joining me today. And I can't thank you enough, even having the patience to deal with all my mess ups. So I hope to see you tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. And I love you all. See you next time, guys.
Does anyone understand? Does anyone lend a hand? When the silence starts to bite, will you join me in this fight? Can you see them in your dreams? Can you hear them? a heart be lost in the night? Oh, will you help me be their voice? In the darkness let's rejoice, 'cause together we can shine.